I'm Jeff Gonzalez, president of Trident Concepts, and I'm here today with Brownells Daily Defense to talk to you about rifle mount exercises for the AR-15. All right, so when we are teaching the rifle to a new shooter or a beginner level shooter, there's a lot of things that I like to try to experiment with, and it's in a sense helping or guiding the student to try to find the best technique that works for them. We've got a lot of different body styles, a lot of different heights and weights and genders. We've got a lot of different rifles, so sometimes what works for me may not work for you. But there are points performance that we want to use as our guide. We don't want to deviate too much. We want to work within these points performance. So we use what we call drills in isolation to help us, in a sense, perfect our rifle mount. Now, the rifle mount, as we define it, is taking the rifle from a point of carry and getting it up to the target. All right, so that could be from a ready position, it could be from a slung, it could be grabbing it off the table, grabbing it from a ready locker, whatever the case might be. It's moving it from point of carry to the target. Now, what's the first kind of like criterion that we're looking for? And that's going to have to do with our hand position, in particular our weak hand, which is our forward hand. There are three positions. I can have my hand all the way forward, I can have my hand all the way back, or I can have my hand about halfway in the middle. So what we're going to use as our guide is going to be the actual performance of our technique. What we want to do is we want to fire a string of fire, which is going to be 5 rounds. We want to use about a half-second cadence in between each shot. And what that'll allow us to do is to gauge how well each of these steps within the particular drill is working for us. You may find that if I'm trying to maintain that half-second pace, that maybe all the way out, maybe all the way in, maybe halfway doesn't work or works better, but you're not going to know that if we don't put some criterion in place. So half-second cadence, 5 rounds. I'm going to start with my hand all the way up on the forward position. Here we go. Watch the muzzle. All right, so my hand all the way forward, not bad. All right, I didn't feel like I had complete control of the muzzle, but that's okay. We're going to move the hand position all the way back, so it's all the way close. Here we go again. Watch the muzzle. All right, so it wasn't that bad, but there was a tremendous amount of climb in my dot, shot to shot. Now let's go somewhere in the middle. All right, here we go. All right, so for me, having my hand somewhere in the middle allowed me to kind of control that weapon system and get the sight back on target a little bit quicker. You can kind of tell by the cadence of the shot. I was able to shoot that round, or shoot the subsequent rounds a little bit faster. Probably shouldn't have done that, but because the gun was stabilized, it made sense. All right, next thing we're going to talk about is the stock position. All right, so when we talk about the stock position, what we're talking about is where am I putting the buttstock in my shoulder pocket? All right, because I have the toe and I have the heel, and then I have the middle. So some people will put just the toe, all right? Some people will bury it all the way down, and other people will find somewhere in the middle. Okay, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna start by putting, burying the stock all the way in to my shoulder pocket. So here I am, buried it all the way in. All right, not bad. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the middle, somewhere's in the middle. So a little bit more, kind of like a little bit more movement. Now I'm going to go all the way to the toe. All right, so all the way to the toe. Here we go. All right, so in that case, burying the stock deeper helped me control the recoil a little bit more. So while I was able to easily hold that pace of a half-second, I could have gone a little bit faster. All right, now let's talk about stock location. I can either have the stock outboard, inboard, or in the middle. All right, what's going to work best for me? When I go outboard, sometimes I run the risk of the stock slipping off my shoulder. Then if I go too far inboard, sometimes I kind of complicate my mount as far as the stock position is concerned. So then what I really want to try to do is find some place that is like the sweet spot. However, if you have to wear armor or any type of shoulder rigging, you may find that the middle is not even an option for you. All right, so if that is a requirement, then you're gonna have to take that into consideration. All right, let's start with all the way out. All the way out, here we go. Oof, man, that was super wobbly, super wobbly. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go all the way in, all the way in. All right, not bad, felt a little bit more in control. Now I'm gonna go kind of like splitting the difference here. All right, so a little bit closer to the inside was a little better for me. But again, your experience or your perspective may change that a little bit. Next, let's talk about the grip pressure. All right, the grip pressure is kind of like the last thing that we have to do with the gun mount itself. And you have a couple of options here. You can squeeze really hard with the right hand, you can squeeze really hard with the left hand, or you can squeeze really hard with both hands, right? My preference is to squeeze really hard with both hands, but let's see what happens when we kind of play with the different grip pressure here. So I'm gonna start by squeezing really hard with my front hand, real hard with my front hand. Here we go. But my right hand is gonna be loose. All right. My right hand, I could tell that it just wasn't really doing anything. It kind of was just like a bump on a log there. And what that meant was that it just wasn't able to really feel the gun returning back to the point of aim as quickly as I wanted. So now I'm gonna relax my lead hand and really grip hard with my strong hand. Here we go. Oof, wow, that was terrible, right? Not gripping at all with that lead hand really makes a difference. Okay, so next, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grip hard with both hands and see what happens there. All right, so gripping hard with both hands really made my job easy. And what I mean by that is when I added all those other stages to this exercise in place and ended up with good, powerful crush grip with both hands, I was able to keep that dot right where I wanted it. I didn't have to dilly-dally around. It really smoothed out my technique. So there are other things that we still need to take into consideration, such as our stance and our shoulders and all these other things, but this really has to do with the mount, the gun mount right here. And that to me is probably one of the most important things. I can't always predict where my stance is gonna be. I can't get the best stance always, but what I should be able to do is be able to get the best mount, all right? So I would strongly encourage you to play with these drills. I would encourage you to spend the time to try to figure out which of each of these stages, which condition in each of these stages works the best for you, all right? And all it takes is about a couple magazines, you know, holding yourself accountable on the targets to making sure you can kind of gauge which is working, which is not working, and then trying to maintain a good steady pace. Again, start with that half-second cadence, and if that works, great. If you can go a little bit faster because the technique is working better for you, that's what I call a clue. All right, I'm Jeff Gonzalez. If you have any questions or comments, or after you've performed this drill, let us know how it worked for you. Would love to hear back from you. Until then, take care and stay safe.